Music just feels so good. You're on to number one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here finally with my favorite Latino comedian, Mark Viera. Mark, welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you, my dude. Thank you for having me.
Dude, let me tell you how I heard about you. Through a meme on Facebook. I'm
gonna take that. That's okay.
No, but it was funny because you imitated a Latina chick like to the T, and it was so funny. I kept playing it over and over and over, and I said I got to find this on YouTube. Boom! I found you. I started following you, and then I saw you was at Albany, New York, at the Funny Bone. That's where I got to meet you for the first time.
Okay.
And let me tell you,
right.
I sat in the front row. I got me a drink and appetizers. I didn't even touch it. You just had me laughing from when you started all the way to the end.
Love it, bro. Love it. That's a great story, by the way, man. When you say the thing that I do, that, you know, the comedy that I bring to the stage is like compelling that way, that means that I'm doing it right, you know, and people in the audience are getting what I'm, getting what I'm trying to, what I wish to have with the audience, which is like full connection from the beginning all the way to the end, you know?
Yeah, because it was funny because they go, the people I was with, they go, yo, you didn't even touch that. I go, it was worth it. He was funny. It was hysterical. And then the stuff that you came up with.
Yeah.
I experienced this stuff too.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the basis of my stand-up is, for me, the connective tissue is the struggle. I was listening to a comedian yesterday say the pain, the trials, the tribulations become the energy for the stage. And that's really basically what I've turned into from growing up in the Bronx to, to having kids, to, ex-wife, whatever it is, it's, you know what I mean? To new stuff in my life, everything becomes energy for the stage. Everything is, and it's all good stuff because I'm going through that, you know what I mean? Going any changes I'm going through, I do it right in front of the people. That's hard for everybody else, but I guess for a comedian, it becomes common ground. As we say therapy, you know what I mean? But it just becomes a common place for me to be free and talk about anything. I tell people the craziest thing is that I'm most comfortable on stage. I can talk about any topic. If you ask me anything, you'll get a straight answer because that's, the stage requires that.
And the way you do it is just amazing. And so, like, I can watch your videos over and over, and I still laugh. It's like I like Dave Chappelle. I can watch him over and over. I keep watching over and over. And then you did that video on TikTok, the same with the Latina woman.
Yeah,
and I did it too. And it's just anybody who does it because it's you doing it is just funny, straight up funny. So you. Like when you're doing your stand up and you're up there, you ever like go blank, even though you got all the stories that you use from experience? You ever like go blank and like get nervous?
Yeah, that's part for the course. You're up there, you're trying to go one way, and you look out in the audience and something happens, whether you see a couple fighting, or just something that just takes your mind away even for a split second, and I lose that train of thought. Like I could just lose it. Like you said, the beauty is that I have something else to jump on. Look, it's funny. I've said to the audience, damn, what was I saying? And they were hanging on every word. And they're like, oh, you said your son smells. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's what I was talking about. And, and then I go right back to maybe not the exact same joke, but I know that I can pick it up because they're not jokes, because they're these stories that are built from, from the essence of my life. I don't have to remember the joke word for word. Which is the beauty of you seeing a video online and then seeing me live, because I'm always tinkering with it. I tell people, I'm like, if you ever see those guys who build bombs, it's never perfect. So they're constantly with that glass, the glasses with the wires, and they're always like, damn, if I can just make this smaller, but yet more explosive. That's exactly what I do with my material and the stories. I tinker with it so the stories don't take so long, but they're more explosive when I want them to be. So the process is constantly working on it, constantly not being afraid to watch myself on video sometimes. And I'm watching myself and I'm like, what the hell was I talking about? I got to get rid of this. I got to add this. I got to be bigger on stage. It's just funny how even the smallest thing when I go back on stage makes the biggest difference.
Now, every time you do a stand-up, like you come up with new stuff all the time. Every time, like you go on, like let's say you got something for the whole week. You do something different or you do the same like skit for that week?
No, it changes every day. It changes every day. And even if it's minor changes, it changes. Do I have okay, so comedians similar to a musician, like if you go see, let's say, Alicia Keys, you know, she has the songs that she wants to play. She, you know, because they're her hits. You know, she's not going to do the song that she wrote in the shower on the way to the gig. It's just not going to happen. That's very unprofessional. It's to say, my people, I'm going to let you in. You know, I had a fight with Swiss Beats a little earlier. So I wrote this little tune for him. It's called I Don't Really Need Your Ass. And then she starts singing some random, you know, I don't really need you. And everybody's like, bro, just do New York, please. Like, I don't know this song. Like, you haven't built it up for me to like. Hasn't been on the radio every day, 288 times a day for me to fall in love with it, you know? So for me, it's about doing the stuff that I know that I'm comfortable with, but changing some of the movement inside. You know, I always say when you go see when I used to perform with Mark Anthony, I used to open for him. I used to love watching how he would, you know, tell a story of how the song came about. And then in the middle of the song, you know, stop and do some, you know, he's the consummate performer, you know, and so I feel like that's what I need to do always. Just change some stuff. And people say, yo, Mark, I came to your show yesterday. I can't believe you did like a new set. I didn't do a new set. I just did some new stuff, you know, but the truth is that I have to constantly write. Like, so I'm always creating a new space. So that's what makes my set feel different, is that I'll do one thing new or two things new. I'll scrap the ending and do a whole new ending. I'm just, you know, what I am married to is the growth, the evolution. So I constantly force myself to write something and make that the closer so that it can get strong. So I can force myself to work on it constantly, you know? And that's honestly, most comedians don't do that. Just the pros. I see Chris Rock and Seinfeld. I see those guys doing that. They take the weakest thing, and instead of putting it safely in the beginning where they can do the rest of their set, I save mine to the end so that I can, you know, put every ounce of effort to make it great. So I can close with it. People are like, you know, oh, that was great. Like, you know. So
when you do stand-up comedy and like when you talk about couples where they're fighting, whatever the scenario is, you ever like look in the crowd and you see like the girl hitting her man or husband, like, yo, that's you. Exactly what
that's every joke. That's every joke. When I do the joke, you know, I do a joke about cell phones. You know, women check your cell phone. If they really love you, they're checking everything, right? Like if they, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, that. And I tell men, I go, ladies, you can leave the room right now because I'm gonna put the men in on my secrets. You know, I'm gonna let them know how to handle this. Is do what I did, you know, do what I started doing, and I start putting my phone back to factory settings every night. So every morning I wake up, my phone says, bonjour, you know, konnichiwa, welcome to Apple. I even had the plastic on my phone. So every morning it was a brand new phone. It was like, you ain't gonna find shit on my phone. That shit ain't got nothing in it. But when I do that, you see the women slapping their men, or the men, you know, going like this to me, like, yo, she just found shit yesterday. So it's funny that, you know, it's funny you say that.
So, it's just funny. So who inspired you to be a comedian?
Very early, I would say the earliest inspiration was Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy was my initial inspiration because when I was growing up, Eddie was on everything. You know, Eddie was on TV. He was in the movies. He was doing everything all at once. He was doing comedy specials. That even though I was young, we were able to watch them through our VHS tapes. You know, people would bring them over and be like, yo, did you see Delirious? And you were like, no. They were like, yo, here. And I had to put it on when my grandmother fell asleep because I didn't want to hear the cursing and all that. But so Eddie was Eddie was, you know, And then I had other people that honestly I didn't even know were comedians. I just knew they were funny. See, Robin Williams, I never saw him do stand-up. I only saw him on Mork and Mindy, but I thought he was hilarious. Billy Crystal used to be on a show called Soap. I didn't see his stand-up. I just saw him on that show Soap. And I thought he was excellent. You know, he was always changing his characters and doing this. And he played a gay character on that show. And so, you know, Laverne and Shirley, you know, Three's Company, like John Ritter was a stand-up, you know. Tom Hanks was a stand-up comedian, but he was on a show called Bosom Buddies, and I thought he was hilarious. So it's funny that what I was watching on television was giving birth to my own funny. You know, one of my biggest, I used to imitate Jerry Lewis when I was a kid because my grandparents loved when I did that. So that was another big inspiration for me. And I tell people now, what you see on stage with my physical comedy and stuff is you're seeing a little bit of all those inspirations. You know, later on, Bernie Mac and George Carlin being smart, those guys they forced me to say, doing a cheap joke about farts or sex it's not even worth it. It's better to write something, live it, and then deliver it with everything physical, facial expression, everything that I could muster up. Like you watch Jerry Lewis movies, it's a different time. You know, the camera was always chest up, so you see his face, you know, it's always in his face. And so I just, honestly, whenever I'm emulating like a box full of the greatest, you know, and I don't have remorse. I don't need to apologize for doing that. Those guys did it so that guys like me would be inspired. You know, other people laugh, but they wanted to inspire a new generation, and they did with me, man. I say my physicality is all John Ritter. You know, when I'm on stage and you see me on the stool and I throw myself off and I climb back out, I'm like, why not? You know, what if I die tomorrow? At least you pissed yourself at my show, going, yo, that Mark Viera, he died in the car accident, but let me tell you, he was funny. You know, God forbid. But you know, I want you to say, I got to see that guy live. You know, I was blessed to see comedy in the raw like that, you know? And that's why I always say changing it and all of that is real important to me. It's not like I do it by accident. It's important every night that I find a new way and a new way to express myself. So.
No, that's great. Now, and I know you had you was on a show on, I think, was it FX, Laugh Mob?
Yeah, no, True TV.
Tell me about it. How'd you get that gig?
Well, I wrote that gig. That show was based all on my stand-up. So that show came about. Basically, the you know, these minds in Hollywood were like, how can we bring Mark's comedy to life where it's not in a sitcom? And they came up with this idea to make what's called a recreation of the stand-up using actors. So taking what we're saying and actually acting them out. And Tiffany Haddish had one. Tiffany Haddish was actually an actor in one that went viral on YouTube. Myself and I think Red Grant or whatever, a couple of other comedians, they used ours as like, you know, hey, True TV, do you guys like this idea? True TV said, yeah, shoot a few and let's see what you can do. And they shot mine and they aired it on True TV on somebody else's show, you know, like during like the commercial break, and which was my grandmother on patrol. Cornflakes, which I do a joke about, you know, getting cornflakes with my grandmother when I was a kid, which I hated. I still hate cornflakes, by the way. I don't hate Kellogg's. I don't want anybody to think, but as a kid, cornflakes was the worst cereal, you know, brand, right? It was just the worst. It wasn't crunchy, wasn't tasty. That, you know, cornflakes had nothing. So those two jokes, those two jokes really set the scene for that show, which is called Laugh Mob's Laugh Tracks, to get picked up for 2 seasons. And then I had the most jokes. I had 14 jokes be aired. And so I have fans of mine that are just from Laugh Mob's Laugh Tracks, which is very weird to me. So they pay money to go see me live. And they're like, oh, but you didn't do the jokes from True TV. I'm like, those jokes are like 14, 15 years old. I have new stuff. They go, no, we loved it. I'm just saying we're fans of your True TV stuff. And I go, yeah, well, you know, it's a funny relationship, but they love that show. So that show, you know, I don't want to say it put me on the map, but it did help with those people that love the storytelling type of comedy to really embrace me with that, you know, with that sort of skill.
Yeah, you got them great skills. You also did you have a special on HBO?
Right now, I have 2 specials on HBO. I have they're both on HBO Max. So one is called the Hot Comedy Festival, The Art of Stand-Up. It's hosted by Angela Johnson, who's one of my friends and super funny. And then the other one is called Entre Nos. It was originally on HBO Latino. So if you look up Entre Nos on HBO Max, it's right there as well. So I actually have them both on right now, and they're both 2 different sets. I talk about grandmothers and the bata and one, which I hate that batas are going extinct. I'm like, yo, that shit is unfair, bro. Like, grandmothers don't want to wear batas no more. And that, my grandmother was all that in a bata, bro. She did everything in that jam. Well,
maybe you could do a clothesline, Mark Viera batas.
That's what I want to do. The Team Viera bata with the little logo, with the snaps and the 2 little pockets. Those are like the first cargo pants was a bata, because I had those 2 pockets in the front that mommy had her tissues in.
Yo, and then your one joke that stuck out to me that you did, it was on one of your shows that I saw on YouTube. You talk about how there's a crime being committed and Primer Impacto is there first before the cops get there. I was dying, bro.
Yeah, it's the most gangster news on TV is Primer Impacto, bro. Because that reporter, he's out there before the yellow tape, before the cops arrive. And we don't know how he knows everything, but we don't know if he gets the drop. But we know that brother's gangster. I call him Juan Rivera. He's out there. Oh yeah, but why you do that? What happened? And people are running out with the bags of money.
That's just hilarious, man. And when I did go see you at the Funny Bone in Albany. What was great about you met with your fans. Like after your show, you came out, took pictures with everybody. I mean, it was cool, because I was worried. I don't know how he's gonna be after the show. But when you came out, I was there for the last show for the night. You came out and I yelled out, "Yo, Primer Impacto!" You started laughing. But it was great. Got a picture with you, which is great. I had a great time, and I'm hoping you come back to Albany.
Yeah. Yeah. Albany is, I hope Albany Funny Bone is back, to their, operating, their sort of almost normal operating schedule very soon, because that was one of the clubs. I reached out to them and they're just waiting for dates, where they can, because there's the problem. The comedy clubs are open, but they're open to such limited capacity in some places that, it doesn't serve them to fly me and do this. So they're trying to work as best they can to fill the calendar without having to spend too much. And I understand that, I guess I have to be as patient as I can be until things start to really open up again, especially in places that I love, Syracuse, Albany. I haven't been back to Virginia Beach, Funny Bone, like so many different, cities have been hitting me up, man. People like every day people go, yo, when are you coming back? Yo, when are you going to be here? When are you going to be there? Man, I wish I could be everywhere, like I was before. It's just going to take time to really get back to that place.
So I know one of the other DJs here at the station, DJ Hugo Boss, he said he caught you, I forgot when, at the Tampa Comedy Improv.
Yep.
In Ybor City.
Yeah, Ybor. Yep, Ybor City. Yep.
Yeah, and he said you were hilarious. You had him going, and all he does is do the same thing I do when on YouTube. Even if we watched it, we watch it again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I know you had a thing on, I think it was on Instagram, where you was trying to teach people how to become comedians.
I'm still doing it. Yep.
So how does that work?
Well, it's just this is the thing. I can't teach people to be comedians. I can just help people find their own funny, and so that's what my workshop is about. It's not a class, it's a workshop. You come in, if you have that, if you have that quality that most comedians have, which is not just that you're funny to people, but that you want to be more funny. And you also, there's like 3 or 4 traits that let you know that you could be comedy bound, right? Because comedy will, listen, just because you take my workshop doesn't mean you're going to become a comedian. That's the kind of caveat. That's the little asterisk at the bottom, is that because it's so hard, bro, this thing is so hard. People actually, I had my guy, he's an Army guy, always the funny guy in the middle, always looking for attention. And took my workshop. He's now in the advanced workshop, which I have a beginner, intermediate, and advanced, because, at some point you either want to go all the way or you don't. And the advanced part, I'm teaching or showing the business side of stand-up, how to make money at this and how to get more, seen on social media. And, there's little things that nobody told me that I had to learn through trial and error. And that's basically what my workshop is about. There's no shortcuts, but if I could explain things to you very granularly, like, so you can kind of see what it is, in the very beginning, you start to realize, oh, that's how comedians think. And it becomes easy for you to put your stories into a template than to try to write a funny joke. Like, you get your notebook and you're like, okay, so I went to, the drive-through and the lady said, yo, sucker, what you got? Trying to do that on stage, you're not going to make it. But if I give you a template and say, hey, this is how you get to the funny quick, and that same story, what's crazy? Drive-throughs make me crazy. Boom, right away, the comedy starts to define itself. And then all you got to do is find the punchline, which every comedian will tell you that's the hardest part. Finding these big punchlines where everybody laughs at the same time. So we work, we work on punchlines. We work on the different parts of the joke. And honestly, it's really about having a good time and finding it funny. That's what the workshop is about. Because I start every workshop with my own stand-up, just a kind of like a 2-minute thing where I let people see what it looks like so that I can explain what I just did and then say, okay, now you can do the same thing. You just have to. And then we go into their storytelling. So I try to marker it that way. Okay. So that's how, that's basically what the workshop is about. Like I said, it has 3 parts. It's 15 weeks altogether. And by the end, I have, like I said, my Army guy, Tony, already did 2 shows. He had never done stand-up before meeting me. He's now in the 3rd week of our advanced. And, like I said, he's done 2 shows already. So, some people are, and there's other people in the workshop that haven't done it. There's another guy that wants to. He's, I can't wait. But when I told him, yo, here's 5 minutes, go do it, he got scared, and I understand that. So it's just building them up to write enough, perform enough to gain confidence to get on stage.
So they pretty much they do like a 5-minute skit?
5 min't. It only takes 4 minutes to get on Jimmy Kimmel. It only takes 4 minutes to get on Seth Meyers. Only takes 4 minutes to be on Jimmy Fallon. You don't need 4 hours of comedy like I have. It's harder for me to get 4 minutes than somebody new to create 4 minutes. It's hard for me to look at all my stand-up and go, oh my God, Jimmy Fallon wants me to do 4 minutes. Now what? Right? It's harder for me because I think all my shit's funny. So it's just, it's that little stuff. So I always tell everybody when they start, it only takes you 4 minutes, a slamming ass 4 minutes to get on Jimmy Fallon. Think about that. And there's 5 different late night shows, right? Corbin, Seth Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel, right? Jimmy Fallon. It only takes you 4 good minutes. So, you can be a bigger star, quote unquote star, than me with your first 4 minutes, and I got 4 hours. It just depends, how you work it.
So have you been offered any like TV roles for TV shows or movies or anything? Because I think you'd be funny if you're in a sitcom or even a comedy movie.
Yeah, I've been offered a lot. This is the thing. There's with Hollywood, there's a lot of politics. There's a lot of ins and outs. I always tell people I'm a stand-up comic, so I'm not one of those actors that can go in and act out a scene. I'm either creating the scene and creating the funny in the scene, but all that comes with a director or somebody who sees the comedy in me. So I've done a lot of short films. I've been on a bunch of TV shows like 30 Rock. There was a show, out back in the days called Heroes. I was on that show for a couple of episodes. So there was things that I've done. I've done some, it's called guest starring roles, where I just come in and go, hey, Mike, are you going to get the thing? And then I don't have any more scenes, But what I love to talk about more importantly is that I've written my own way in Hollywood. So what I've written, like you said, the true TV stuff happened because of my stand-up. So I'm very proud of that. I wrote my own sitcom based on my life, and it was executive produced by George Lopez, and we sold the show to Warner Brothers. We sold the show to Fox. You just, at the very end, you're in competition with other ideas that the TV network has to decide. And I was the top 3. So it was me. There was an Indian girl named Mindy Kaling who was on the show called The Office, a very, very big hit show called The Office, and then another comedian that was selling his show. And out of those 3 shows, they picked Mindy Kaling. You know, I forget the name of the show. But that show wound up being picked up. It only did 2 seasons on Fox, but then it got picked up, I think, by Hulu or one of the others for another season. But that's how, you know what, you can't get jaded that my stand-up is TV bound. In the beginning, I thought that's what it was, because that's what I was being told by managers and agents. Oh, you're a TV star. You're gonna be this. They just blow smoke up your butt to keep you interested. Now I just do the stand-up and let the people watch. And I feel like one day the stars will be aligned and everything that I need from comedy will happen. You understand? But I wake up every day, I make people laugh, and I'm super excited, happy. And you know what I mean? And I don't need anything else in my life, bro.
Well, I got people over here in the YouTube chat room. They want you to come to Florida.
I live in Florida. Hey, guys in the chat room, I live in Florida. And I was just here. You guys just got to come out, man. You know, I was just at the West Palm Beach Improv not too long ago. And hopefully Miami's up next. So if they're in Miami, I know everybody's been asking me about Orlando. The thing with Orlando is they have such a tight window because of COVID that I haven't been able to eke my way in just yet. And it's been, man, I just looked the other day. It's been like 4 years I don't perform at the Orlando Improv. But the best thing I can say is let's get some promoters together out in Orlando and let's do a show somewhere. Let's do our own thing. You know, let's get a small theater, 500 people. Let's sell it out for 2 nights, and I'm down with that. We'll split that money. Ain't no harm, no foul. I have no issues with that. It's a drive away from me, you know?
No, that's great. So if people want to like follow you, what type, how can they keep how they can follow Mark Viera?
The best way to follow me, number one, my website, markviera.com. Just my name, markviera.com. From there, all my social media platforms are available. But if you love social media and don't want to go to my website, you know, just Mark Viera Comedy on everything. You know, Mark Viera Comedy. My YouTube channel has some, you might, you know, you have to visit my YouTube channel. I have a comedy special there that's hilarious. It's strictly just a YouTube channel, comedy experience, you know, that I put up there that I wanted people to just kind of live an hour with me while I'm on stage, where I'm not doing a lot of material. It's just all whatever. And then I have one that I sell for $10. I have shirts. Everything's available on my website, or just hit me up on social media. You know, I've hey man, right now I have to rely on my resources, and comedy is my best resource. So I'm like, you know what? I could have done a million things. I just want to stick to this comedy workshop, selling my merchandise from home. You know, I gotta, and just honestly, just loving this thing that I do, because it loves me so much, man. You know, comedy freaking loves me.
Yeah, man, we love you too, man. You're hilarious, man. I said when the guys mentioned they wanted to do a comedy week on Triple Threat FM radio, I said, all right, cool. I said, I hit you up. I said, I hope he answers me back. You know, I hope he answers me back. And then I know, like, the whole week I was like all nervous. I said, yo, he hasn't answered me back. What am I gonna do? And then boom, you hit me up. I said, all right, shoo. But hey, man, I just want to thank you, man. You are one of my top favorite comedians. Number one, Latino comedian, you're number one. Not because you would interview, man, but when I heard you and the stuff that you talk, I said, this dude is on point. This is real stuff. This is how women, these Latinas talk.
Yeah.
It's funny. I said, man, that's accurate. It was like you was accurate.
Nobody makes you feel more stupid than a Latina. Yo, you're so stupid, yo. You like, damn, I'm that stupid? It took you 4 minutes. What the hell? Like you know? So yes.
Well, that is great, man. I hope to see you soon in Albany.
Yes.
Because
yes.
I'm there.
This is what I ask when I'm in Albany. Just gather everybody together, man. Try to get the troops together and say, hey, man, let's go support this dude. And let's show out. You know, I think that's how this thing turns the corner to the next level, is that the people begin to rise up and say, we want Mark to be the ambassador for our Latino comedy. You know, they did it with Gabriel Iglesias, and look, Fluffy is, you know, the Filipinos did it with Joe Coy, and look at where he's at. Russell Peters is the Indian guy, and look where he's at. It's like everybody has to kind of like band together, sort of like they do for politicians, right? It's like, oh, I voted for him, and look, he wins. Same thing, man. You know, I gotta rock that vote where people go, you know who I want? I want Mark. I want him to be the driver, and I'm willing to jump in the vehicle with him and let it go where it goes. And like I said, man, I've been doing this 20 years. I just made 20 years. And I don't look back and go, I missed anything, because I've been giving it my all for 20 years. You know what I mean? I've been putting all of my experience, my life, my craziness out there for the public to have fun and realize that their life is not, they're not alone. You know, they're not the only crazy ones. We're all crazy, and we're all just trying to figure this out. So, you know, we might as well laugh about it. That's basically my motto. We might as well laugh about it. So, you know, and I appreciate you, bro. Like I said, man, when I come up back to Albany, man, I love to see you there, brother. Always.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be there, and I'm going to hit you up and say, yo, save the front row for me, man, because that's where I was. I was right in the front, and then I didn't touch nothing. I laughed. I laughed.
Your fries were cold. Your wings were cold. You were like, oh, forget the wings, bro.
Never forget the win. This is Mark. Here we are. But you were awesome, man. You were awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it again. We'll support you here on Triple Threat FM Radio. When you come to Albany, I will definitely throw it out there for everybody to come down to Albany and sell out your show.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hey, man, I thank you, everybody. Mark Viera. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.